Hey guys, good morning and welcome to the South Appalachian Weather Channel. It's December 28th, about 8:35 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we've got our first briefing of the year, the channel, and we've got some cold weather working its way into our region over the next couple of days. Now, the first thing, as we take a look at the current conditions across the area, this is just a map of station plots and current observations as of about 8 o'clock a.m. this morning. If you look back across Tennessee and over into Arkansas, you'll see those purple numbers on the station plots starting with a G. Those are wind gusts. So we've already got winds gusting 17, 18 northern Alabama down into southern Tennessee, up to as much as 33 miles an hour already along the Mississippi River and the Arkansas-Tennessee border. Those winds are going to be overspreading our region over the next several hours, and forecasts are pushing for possibly as high as gusts as much as 50 miles per hour in the highest terrain of our region. And that is because if you take a look at this forecast chart, this is valid as of 6Z or 6 Universal Time tomorrow morning, so Monday. We're looking at if you take a look at those isobars, those black lines with 1,000, 1,004, 1,008, 1,012 stretching across our region, they're very tightly spaced. That indicates that we've got a big pressure gradient for barometric pressure, which usually brings some pretty strong winds to our region. And that's going to continue through tomorrow morning and through the passage of the cold front. And that cold front, the blue line there, is expected to be through by 12 o'clock Universal Time, and 12Z equates to 7 a.m. as well. So just bear that in mind as we're going through this. We're going to be having some gusty winds. Now, you may have already noticed the green shading. We are expecting a decent amount of rainfall out of this as well. In fact, if we go ahead and take a quick look at the rainfall amounts that are forecast right now, in valley locations, we're looking at about 1/10 of an inch. Not too bad, given we're in a drought right now. But then also our higher terrain on the northern and eastern ends and also the southern ends of our territory. So the Clay and Cherokee County lines in North Carolina, as well as portions of Gilmer and Fannin counties, as well as a little bit of southern Union County, maybe looking at 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. Just depends on the exact timing and exact position of the storms within the cold front. Now, the main reason why we're looking at all of this, though, is the cold conditions. This is a map of the current forecast low temperatures on Tuesday morning. So we're talking about 48 hours from now. In valley locations across the board, looking at about 18 degrees Fahrenheit. That's as of, again, the current forecast conditions. But you'll notice that there's some darker blue shading in the higher terrain. Again, up in Hanging Dog in Cherokee County, up around Rainbow Springs in Clay County, and then far southern Fannin County and over into Gilmer County, around such as those areas like that. We may be looking at ambient temperatures, just the actual measured temperature dipping down into single digits. Again, there's some variability with that. This is just the latest information, and this is subject to change a bit. But just bear in mind, it's going to be very cold. Then you add those winds that we already looked at from the pressure gradient on top of it. And now we're looking at the apparent temperature, the feels like temperature, the wind chill temperature. In valley locations, Murphy, 9, Andrews, 10, Blairsville, 7. So we're already flirting with an even upper single digits. But again, notice that darker blue shading in the same areas we looked at before. We're looking at possibly 1, 2, 3 degrees below zero in those areas. So already very, very cold. Then add the wind chill on top of it, and we're going to look at some negative single-digit values, if you will, of these wind chills as we get into Tuesday morning. So what do we do with all this information now? What do we do with this forecast? The main thing is, if you've undone any of your cold weather prep as far as for your household or your property over the last couple weeks since our last cold snap, today would be a really good day to redo that. So again, we're talking for protection of pipes. We're talking of, if you do have any cold sensitive plants on a porch, something like that, bringing them inside or something like that to make sure they're protected. Make sure pets have not only a warm place to be, but also some way that they can still have water, because water will freeze at these temperatures for sure, especially given we'll be having a kind of prolonged period at or below freezing on the heels of this Tuesday morning. Then switching to agriculture, as far as the growing season, pretty much done. That's already been a given over the last month or so. But livestock, we're not looking at a tremendous amount of rainfall, so it's not like it's going to be super, super damp, but it will be bearing in mind these very cold conditions. So use your discretion and just bear in mind it's going to be very windy and very cold. Now, a quick note, and I'm putting this at the end because we're not expecting a lot of snowfall out of this. Really, the only thing as far as snow, perhaps a few flurries in the low elevations. We've been dealing with temperatures in the mid 70s over the last couple of days, pretty much area wide. So the ground is way too warm as far as low terrain for really anything to stick. As far as the high terrain, there is a possibility on elevated surfaces. I wouldn't really even say bridges. They're going to have a lot of thermal mass, so they're going to stay pretty warm even as well. But trees, you know how the leaves settle and it'll sometimes snow will settle on that, maybe a dusting on that. And again, this is in the high elevations. So we're not talking about anything that's really going to be impacting travel out of this system, but it is worth bearing in mind. We may see some flurries fly here as we wrap up Christmas week and head into the new year. And speaking of that, we'll go ahead and wrap up this briefing, but stay warm, stay safe out there, and enjoy these last few hours we have of warmer weather and these last few days of 2025.